Engaging celebrity interviews. Exciting updates from Christian filmmakers. Movie reviews so you can choose your movies wisely. And so much more here on Faith on Film with Isaac Hernandez and Holly McClure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Faith on Film. I've got a great show for you today. First of all, we're going to be hearing from Melissa Anschutz, Vice President of Communications at BMG Global, and she's here to tell us all about a movie that is available for you to watch now on Encourage TV. And of course, we're also going to hear from the star of the movie, as well as his son, who happens to be the director. So it should be a fun interview with the father and son team. And then after that, we're going to hear from Kyle Portbury. Now, Kyle is the director of a new movie coming out in theaters this April 17th and 18th called The Hopeful, and he's here to tell us all about it. But first, let's hear from Melissa. And we are here with Melissa Anschutz, Vice President of Communications for BMG Global, and she's here to tell us what is happening this month at Encourage TV. Melissa, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good, Isaac. Thank you. I love this part of my month when I get to come on the show. Thank you so much for having me again. We love being your sponsor.
Oh, it's such a pleasure for us to have you on. And of course, we certainly appreciate your sponsorship. So what do we have going on this month at Encourage TV?
Yeah, we have a great film that we're featuring this month called Fly Old Bird, Escape to the Ark. It's just this darling tale about two friends, unexpected friends, I guess I should say, in their 60s, who are basically taking a road trip and fleeing from their children. Their children are treating them a little bit like children now that they've gotten, a little bit older. So they're trying to take their checkbook and they're trying to tell them they don't know basically how to adult anymore. So they decided to run away. It's just super cute. And they head through the states to find this actual ark. So it's on Encourage TV. It is, free to subscribers. So please subscribe and watch this darling film. You'll definitely get a kick out of it.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I watched the movie and it just hit too close to home. It just reminded me that I'm kind of getting close to that myself. And the funny thing is my kids tell me that they will take my wife in, but not me. They say, you're going to a home because you are too high maintenance. So, yeah, this movie just kind of struck a chord. Oh, boy. So, anyway.
I feel like it's going to be relatable, to a lot of people, whether you're the kid or you're the adult.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're going to take a look at the trailer, and then we are coming back. I'm going to be able to interview the star of the movie. What is his name now?
Alan, yeah,
Alan,
and the director Shaun,
and the director, which is his son, isn't it?
Correct.
This is going to be a fun interview. Well, thank you, Melissa, and we'll see you again next month. Here's the trailer.
Hey, Gibbs, were there any birds on the ark?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, we're as free as a couple of sunbirds now.
You're flying high, man.
Ain't nobody gonna get us down. Nobody.
Hey, unless you run us off the road and crash or something.
I got it. Don't worry. Ain't nothing gonna stop us now. Nothing.
Nobody gonna stop me now. Ain't nobody gonna stop me now.
Hey. Letters from my kids. They took away my car keys, my checkbook, my credit cards, and then I got dementia or Alzheimer's.
I've got to do something.
Since they're going around looking at nursing homes and searching for one that deals with memory care issues.
You know, Dad, he's not going to make this easy.
Never gonna happen. But I threw those pills away. Getting better and better. My son put this in my yard. That time here is up. Get all the keys.
I think we're really rushing this.
Gibbs!
I can't take him in.
What you doing, Kotsky?
You ready to go?
Oh, where?
To the yard.
What the heck? Let's do this, all right?
It's a deal.
You really think I need a nursing home? Me?
Not yet.
You will someday.
I'll die first.
Well, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to die first before I end up in a nursing home. So I'm running for my life, Gibbs.
Just trying to give him a little nudge towards Jesus.
Hope it does the trick.
That's out there, man.
A little crazy, right?
Well, at least you're running with a pretty good man.
Who should go on the road is Gibbs and Koski.
Koski and Gibbs sounds better.
It has to be alphabetical.
That'll never fly. I'm gonna find a spot on that ark and sit there till she floats out to sea.
Well, I'm here now with Alan Maki, who has written, produced, and starred in 2 feature-length Christian movies, Sidewalk Singer and Mr. Watt, distributed both by Bridgestone Multimedia. And he's joined by his son, producer, director, actor, Shaun Maki, and they're both here to tell us all about their latest feature film, Fly, Old Bird, Escape to the Ark. Welcome to Faith on Film, gentlemen.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Isaac.
It's a pleasure.
Good to see you.
Now, I was able to see the movie. And I have to admit, and I mentioned this when I spoke with Melissa just a few minutes ago, it really hit home because I'm kind of nearing that age, first of all, where, you know, I'm getting old, I'm getting up there. And, and I was telling Melissa that my kids actually say that they will take in my wife, but they don't think they're going to take me in because I'm too high maintenance. So... So this reminded me too much of, oh my goodness, what am I going to do when I reach that point where it's time to go to a home? But anyway, it is a great movie. Alan, why don't you tell me a little bit? I know Melissa just kind of mentioned a little bit about it, and then we saw the trailer right now, but maybe go into more detail about what this movie is all about and why you decided to make a movie like this.
Well, it's about two guys mainly. It's a buddy movie. I play an older, cranky guy that my children want to put me in a nursing home. And I meet this Christian man that lives down the street, and we form an unlikely friendship. I find out he's alone, never been married. He would like to go to the Ark encounter in Kentucky. And we kind of bicker and banter for a while, and I finally surprise him, pick him up, say, get in the car, and let's head off to the Ark encounter. And the whole journey that we take is really an escape from the nursing home. I know that my children will try to track me down and get me in a nursing home. And so it's the whole journey toward the Ark. And it was a beautiful thing to have the Ark encounter give us special permission to film there. That took a while for them to kind of clear me and make sure they could trust what we do there. And so I'm really grateful to the Ark encounter. Mm-hmm. And I wrote it, I looked around at the locations that I had available, and the houses and a cemetery and all this and that, knew that I could get a hold and use those. So then I wrote this, had this idea for this whole script. As I'm getting older too, and I was a pastor for 31 years and met with a lot of people in nursing homes, and of course all of them want to get out. So I thought, well, what about a guy who gets out before they get him in? And that's what happened.
Now, is this somewhat of a personal story, Shaun? Are you thinking of maybe putting your dad in a home? No, of course not.
I'm going to run now. I'll see you later, Isaac.
Now, Shaun, you directed this movie, correct?
I did, correct.
Tell me, how was it directing your dad?
Oh, you cut out a little bit there. I'm sorry.
How was it directing your dad in this movie?
It was very interesting. Working, we were in the nursing home, interacting with people, and we can't believe how many people during filming and since filming have said, what happened in this story is something that happened in their lives. And everybody that was there wanted to get out of the nursing home or didn't feel like they needed to be in the nursing home. And it's a real battle because this movie touches on that dementia and Alzheimer's. Does the individual need to be in a nursing home? Are there medications affecting them? Those types of things. And so while I directed it, I also played his son in this movie. And so it brought it, and I am his son. So see, I'm not an actor, I'm just his son, so it worked out. But, it brings it home, like you said, and to sit there across from your father and to have that conversation, mm-hmm. And him saying, I want to go home. And this is something that I'm sure so many people experience and feel what that is, to not only put your parent in a nursing home. Alan had to go through this with both of my grandparents, as well as fighting to get my grandfather out of a situation where medication put him in a position where they thought he would never be okay again. And we're able to fight to get him back to a normal way of life for a while. So it is real. And those things mm-hmm. that we all experience this in life, this walk and aging. And so it was fun to tell that story, and especially to get things like the Ark encounter and other people backing us and behind us in this story of these two gentlemen who really are. It's a buddy film as they go through it, and it becomes pretty funny the way they interact together. But he doesn't think he belongs in a nursing home. The other guy kind of might think the sun. Here's the sundowners again, and he says where, it's that. So it's a play on that. But yeah, it was fun working with my father in this project. Absolutely.
Well, I tell you how else it also hits home with me is we took care of my mother-in-law who did develop dementia. She did have Alzheimer's. And we took care of her, I'm going to say, maybe about 3 years. And while she did have dementia, but she still, was very much alive. But then it got to a point where we did have to take her into a home. We took her into a home nearby, and so we could visit her often. And my wife just was not happy with just kind of how things were being handled there. So we pulled her back out. But just that time that she spent there, I think really diminished her spirit, because it wasn't long after that she did pass away. So I know it's difficult, but I would highly recommend that if you can hold on to your parents, definitely you might want to do that. I'm saying that, of course, making sure my kids hear this so that they can keep us around.
Yeah, in this case, in this story, the children, they're busy with work. They're full-grown adults. Life gets in the way sometimes. And so, call your mom, call your dad, spend time with them, know what medications are on, know and find out where they're at in their journey, if it's something they really need to be in a nursing home or not. But it's certainly, so we're navigating this story inside of the nursing home, outside of the nursing home. Are they breaking out of a nursing home? Are they making it down to Kentucky, running from the cops, so he believes? Yeah,
but the two characters end up having a lot of fun, really. Yeah. And
yes, they did.
My other buddy is Dennis McComas, who just did a great job of acting. And there's kind of a four-man team a lot of times that Shaun's wife, Audrey, ran all the sound and the boom mics and all that. So the four of us, and then we would add actors as we went, but kind of a four-man team to make this happen.
Well, I would highly recommend, folks, that you watch this movie. It is available on Encourage TV. So if you haven't gone to Encourage TV, I suggest you do and watch this movie called Fly Old Bird, Escape to the Ark.
That's right. Yeah, when we signed with Bristol Multimedia, David Austin, the CCO there, said, why don't we add Ark into the title? It was called Fly Old Bird. So how about Fly Old Bird, Escape to the Ark? He said, that's it. So that's what we use.
David knows what he's doing when it comes to distributing films.
There you go. We agree.
Well, gentlemen, thank you. Anything else?
It's a pleasure. Thanks for everything you do with Faith on Film TV. Your career is fantastic. Your channel is fantastic. We enjoy it.
Thank you.
And, it's an honor to spend a little time with you today.
Well, thank you. I also now Mr. What and Sidewalk Singer are also still on Encourage TV, right?
Yeah, Shaun directed Mr. What as well. Yes. So
who? Mr. Who?
Mr. What?
Mr. Who? Mr. What? Mr. Where? Well, fantastic. I recommend you all go see those two movies as well. They are wonderful movies. Very inspirational.
If anybody has any questions, they can go to flyoldbird.com. That'll link them to reviews. It'll link them to trailers and links to go see the movie as well, and to Encourage TV, our partner, which we've had a great couple weeks since they launched it in March, and it's at about 90,000 views on there alone right now. So we're loving the response and the joy that is coming out of this. So it's been a thrill.
You'll see a lot of awards we've won, fortunately, at some film festivals too. So it's been a joyride, believe me.
Yep.
Good. All righty, folks, thank you for joining us today. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, I'm Brett Barville. I'm a producer, director, actor, and I'm the star of Mayberry Man, and you're watching Faith on Film.
Well, with me today is Kyle Portbury. Now, Kyle is an Emmy Award-winning, 3-time Australian Directors Guild nominated writer-director, and he is here today to talk to us about the movie The Hopeful, which, by the way, releases as a Fathom event in theaters on April 17th and 18th only. So you want to make sure and go watch them at those times. Other than that, I'm sure it'll be streaming, but we don't know when yet. Kyle, welcome to Faith on Film.
Lovely. Thank you for having me, Isaac.
Oh, you bet. You're going to, of course, share with us today about the movie. But you know what? In fact, let me set that up. Before we talk about the movie, why don't we take a look at the trailer? That way people will have a visual idea of what it is we're talking about, all right?
Brilliant. Let's do it.
Obey his word and believe. There is no time for delay. I believe the Bible is clear. Jesus will return in but 4 short years.
I come before you today to tell you that I have been shown in vision. Father Miller's message was light. The Advent people were traveling on a path toward a bright and holy city.
This is not the first time the end of the world has been prophesied by a fool, nor will it be the last. If you do not renounce these radical ideas, you will not be welcome here in this house of worship.
This was only the beginning of our journey.
Her visions do not come from God. My friends, she speaks with great tenderness of the word of the Lord.
The Holy Spirit encouraged our Advent hope. There were people who didn't listen and they fell off the path.
Will you believe this doctrine which you preach? I was lost, and now I'm found.
We must follow the word of God over the rule of men. We feel love. The love of Jesus. It lifts us up. It carries us forward.
And it will guide us home.
I was made for you.
You know, Kyle, I remember seeing this movie at a film festival where you guys pre-screened it, and I do remember being very impressed with the quality level of the cinematography, the directing, which of course is you. It just was a beautiful movie. Can you now tell us a little bit more about what the movie is about? Now, I know it's based on a true story, so just give us some more information about the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful character-driven period drama that explores anticipation, disappointment, and how you persevere through that to recapture that thing that you were anticipating in the first place. And I think all good cinema should present you with characters and places that those characters are that sweep you away and kind of take you on a journey where you discover something about yourself, right? And that's a very personal thing. This is what I love about cinema that no other, form of media can really capture. There's something about sitting in that room with 100 other people and all going on this journey together, and being swept up in the story and putting yourself into the shoes. Who would I be in this story? And, would I be this person? And how would I react to that disappointment? Would I be one of the people who were able to persevere? And then you can start to put that into your own context and in your own life. I love doing that in films. Like, for instance, in Oppenheimer, one of my favorite parts of that cinema experience is that you walk out of there and you go, would I push the button, right? Would I be able to, even with that 0.001 infinitesimal chance that the entire world explodes, it takes a certain kind of person to be able to be like, yeah, so we're going to push it anyway.
Sure.
Right? And I think in our context for the hopeful, I think it takes a certain kind of person in the light of disappointment on the level that these people experienced for real, to persevere through. And, your legacy, for Ellen, one of the main characters in the film, her legacy today is 500 plus hospitals in 65 countries, the largest Protestant healthcare network on the planet. She's the most translated female nonfiction author of all time. I mean, that's a pretty incredible outcome of perseverance. And I think if all that does is inspire you as you're walking out of the cinema to what's the hope and healing that you can put out into your sphere of influence in the world, that would be a pretty great outcome.
Right. I remember seeing the movie Cabrini recently, and this kind of reminds me a little bit of that. Again, because it's a woman, which, by the way, some people really seem to object to, but it's a woman that, just that perseverance has caused such great movement to come out of, and that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Now,
I think that's just white men not knowing how to handle women with agency who know how to do stuff, Isaac. And I think, thank goodness in life that we have those women who are able to persevere in spite of all of those old crusty dudes, who would get in the way of that. I think that's a beautiful thing.
I agree. Totally agree with you. Now, you're from Australia, is it?
I am, yes.
You are. How did you end up getting picked to direct this movie?
So, it's one of those things, that kind of half picks you and you pick it, right? I'm probably one of the few people in this movement of Adventism who had gone and trained in conservatorium theatre training for a start, and then I shifted behind camera. So I had a skill set that's fairly uncommon, I guess, within that faith tradition. And they were, nobody else. There's only me working on the crew, and out of the entire crew and cast, there was maybe 2 Adventists on the entire thing.
Really?
Which again is fabulous, right?
Huh.
Even down to, so some of that music, that incredible music that you heard in the trailer. So the composer, Blake, and I both grew up Adventist and still are. Jonas is Christian, but then my editor's Buddhist, and I think it's a fabulous opportunity to introduce our story to somebody else, and then it becomes their story as well, right? It's not dependent on, and again, that's the hallmark of great cinema. And the hallmark of great storytelling is, can you tell a story that's about a specific person and then have other people take that on board and it becomes their story as well? I think that's what cinema's about, right? It's an experience that's supposed to emotionally draw you in. And, Jonas, for instance, Myron, on the 2 original songs in the film, if you've ever sung 10,000 Reasons or Cornerstones, so Jonas wrote both of those with Matt Redman. He's written for Andrea Bocelli, Celine Dion, Barbra Streisand, you name it. Half of Lauren Daigle's last album he wrote together with her, for her. So he's just incredibly talented. And I sent him a rough cut, which is really vulnerable actually when you send people a rough cut, because there's all the caveats. It's not color graded. It's not how I think the film's going to end up looking. But, if you feel moved by this horrible mashup of stuff that hasn't been properly worked on yet, see what comes out, if anything, right? And 4 days later, he sent me the 2 songs that are in the film, in the most beautiful demos I've ever heard. And you're like, it forced me to look at the story differently. I actually edited the film from that point on completely differently to how I was feeling to approach it. So I think the wonderful thing about collaboration, I think why I love filmmaking so much, is the team sport aspect of it, is that everybody that comes in can influence and can affect and just give you options, right, as a director.
Right.
You're able to then allow that influence to then flow into the way that you tell that story and those character arcs develop. And so in this really beautiful organic way, both of those songs became the main character theme for Miller and then for Ellen. And they arc themselves in this beautiful 3-act structure, each song, and it almost becomes the inward expression of each of those characters.
Right.
And then when Jonas and Blake saw what we'd done when we picture locked in the edit with those songs, they got re-inspired again and changed the way that they were approaching them. So then now you end up getting in final mix and in their final output of that just something wholly just different again that is incredible and, so special. And you end up getting these character moments which are so much more powerful than they would have been otherwise if people didn't feel like they could push and try things and offer you suggestions of, well, what if the second time we hear that song, the lyrics aren't there and it's a hum, all right? And then you look at it and you go, wow, that actually is that does something completely different to me in that moment that actually that moment needed. I just didn't realize it until you offered that as a suggestion. And then you go down that road with it, So there's, collaboration's a beautiful thing like that. If you let, other people's ideas be received and you work with them and you come out of it with this story that just really grabs you emotionally, how you want to be emotionally taken on a journey in cinema. And I think that goes for all of if you allow people to take ownership with you of a story like that when you're creating it. I think you build an opportunity for it to be doing that in cinema, right? Because that's the spirit that flows through it. So when someone sits in a cinema, they do get that sense of, oh, this could be mine too, right? Like these characters' experience and the way that they're wrestling with the big issues that I wrestle with, you know? I think that accessibility and that relatability is really key in cinema. Yeah.
Right. Well, it certainly sounds like music had played such a strong part in this movie.
Huge role.
The music is going to be available, isn't it?
Yes, it is. April 3rd, you'll be able to. We did a version of "Made for You," which is Ellen's theme, with the Stockholm Strings Studio Orchestra, many of whom play for the Stockholm Symphony. And so that is absolutely gorgeous. That'll be coming out across Spotify and iTunes and wherever you pre-save all that good stuff. So those pre-save links are up now. So if you go to Jonas Myron on Spotify, you can pre-save. Same in iTunes. April 12, the radio version of Made for You comes out. And then April 15, the full soundtrack comes out across all the places where you save music and listen to music. And it's gorgeous. Blake Robinson, who has done the score, composed the score. It is world-class, like world-class.
Wonderful.
And just from a listening experience, what they've done with crafting that soundtrack in and of itself is just gorgeous. It's one of those compliments to the experience after the cinema, right? That you're able to go and go, well, I love that experience, and now I can engage with the music from it.
That's fantastic, man. Well, again, the movie The Hopeful as a Fathom event in select theaters, April 17th and 18th. You don't want to miss it. Kyle, thank you so much for taking time to spend with us today. I know that you're running around here in the United States, busy doing all sorts of things right now before the release.
Having a fantastic time too.
Well, that will do it for this week's show. I really hope you enjoyed these conversations. I know I did. Now, I want to use up the rest of the time I have right now to invite you to go check out our new website. Remember, we have a brand new website we've just released, and we sure would love for you to visit it. In it, you'll find information on Holly and myself, as well as something very interesting, and that is interviews that Holly has done with Hollywood celebrities. Those are part of her Holly on Hollywood brand. You'll find interviews with Henry Winkler, Kevin James, Julia Roberts, Ewan McGregor, Roma Downey, and so many more. Very interesting interviews that she has done over the years. So just go to faithonfilmtv.com. That's faithonfilmtv.com. And of course, I also want to invite you to check out our YouTube channel. That's YouTube.com/@faithonfilmtv. There you will find a lot of our past shows. Well, that's it for today. We'll see you next week.
Write to us at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Faith on Film TV. Also, go to our YouTube channel, Faith on Film TV, and hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications on our latest Faith on Film shows.